Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Francis Pannulla, and I'm a recovery coach and personal development coach based outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And I'm here on this bit dreary day outside of Philadelphia, talking about living your values, aka walking the talk. And I think this is important because I think something that a lot of people kind of don't appreciate or dislike in life is somebody who is either inauthentic, hypocritical. They're saying one thing but doing another. They're making promises or they're espousing something that they don't actually live or believe in. So to me, it's really important, I think, the things that you value, the things that you believe in, to actually live and embody them. And I'll get into why. And I chose this picture of this person, they're kind of hiking on the top of a mountain. I was going to use a picture of myself, but none of them look quite as good as this one. And sometimes it can be lonely living your values. Sometimes it can feel like you're in this fog or on this journey by yourself. But by sticking to the things that you believe in and that resonate with you, you're more able to deal with adversity, difficulty, and things that come your way, as well as feel more pride in your successes when you achieve them. All right, so let's get started. So first, and I put a couple of images in this, and I said, this man stands on business. What do you stand for? And, I hear that saying a lot, like stand on business. And to me, that's like standing on your principles, standing on the things that, that matter to you. And that's something that I was kind of raised with and was instilled in me, is having these principles and values and, being willing to stand on them. And sometimes standing on something means it doesn't work out for you. It means dealing with difficult things, but I stand on business. So I made this little image right here. So, like, what do you stand for? Like, what are your values? What are your beliefs? All right. So, in all seriousness, though, in order to truly discover who you are, what you're about, what you want in your life, the kind of goals, the kind of habits, the people you're seeking for your life, you need to understand your values. And when I talk about the people you're seeking for your life, that can be like what kind of partner you're looking for. Because suppose you get enter a relationship or something with somebody who literally has different values, different goals, different worldview than you, different ideas of how they want to live their life. That often doesn't mesh well. Now you have these two competing sets of values, and somebody's going to either have to compromise, or there's going to, could be issues in the relationship. Maybe you grow, these different things can happen. But to understand your values before entering these things, whether it's a job, if I take a job that really doesn't align with my values and I'm doing things that, don't align with myself, maybe I'm not going to feel good and really appreciate doing that job or feel good about going to work. So understanding what you're about, what you want in your life, your goals, your habits, all this is really important. So what matters to you? And I'm going to put a link in the thing below from the previous video I've done on a values exercise, but we're going to list 5 things such as, and these are values, such as like health, serenity, honesty, kindness, financial stability, family, travel and experience, community, generosity, justice, creativity. These are just like some examples of things that you might really want to value or prioritize in your life. Suppose you really love travel and experience. You love going to new places and doing new things, and you're around people that don't. Sometimes you might have to break away from the pack. Maybe sometimes you're like that person on the hike, although hopefully you'll, be safe and have people hiking with you. But sometimes, like understanding what it is you really want out of life to pursue it and, bring your life around that. So if I want to travel and have these experiences and maybe I need more financial stability, I need to save, I need to prioritize these different things, cut back in other areas to be able to travel. Suppose I want to prioritize my health, but I really haven't been attending doctor's appointments. Maybe I need to start using some of my PTO that I've been using for vacation to go to these different doctor's appointments, get different tests I've been putting off, as an example. Now, this is my personal life. I try to put on stuff, especially for health, but or put off stuff for health, but learn to prioritize these different things in your life. Honesty, being honest in your endeavors, honest in your speech, honest in the way that you interact with people. To have kindness. Kindness, my grandmother used to say, kindness doesn't cost anything. Doesn't cost anything to be kind, she would say. And it's true. I can be kind and show compassion, empathy, just smile at people, be friendly, be warm, in my daily life, to live that value. Community, being part of community, trying to help your community, generosity, justice, granted, I'm not out there protesting and stuff or doing different things for justice, but I appreciate people who are fighting for some cause that they believe in, or creativity. Maybe you're a person that really values creativity, art, music, these different things, and it's something that's really important to your life, you might prioritize the things that you do or your hobbies or your employment, different things surrounding that, how you want to spend your time and live your life. And then kind of going from the last video rather about kind of having confidence in yourself and embodying these things, think about how these values inform how you live your life, how you carry yourself, the discussions that you have, the things that you talk about, how you interact with people. All right, so the first time I did a values exercise and laid out my values, I came up with my freedom, helping others, justice, honesty, and family. And I forget exactly which order. I knew freedom was up there. And this was actually like kind of early on in recovery. I had different legal issues and caught charges and stuff throughout my, time in addiction. So like valuing my freedom was up there. Okay, I need to make sure I do nothing that's going to jeopardize my freedom to where I'm in a jail cell. Okay, then how can I give back and help others? And how can I promote justice and fairness in life? Something that's important to me. Because I've always, since a kid, if something feels unjust to me, I feel strongly about it. Honesty, and especially in addiction, it's hard to live with honesty. So then, how do I, in my recovery, live with honesty, help others, family? How do I be there, be present, assist and aid, and just be a sibling, be a, son, to be an uncle, these different things, be a cousin, whatever it is, go to these family functions and be there. And it's wonderful. Honestly, that's one of the best benefits for, not to make the recovery video, but like for people in recovery, one of the best early benefits is the relationships like with their family and friends start to improve. And then they ask you, how are you living them? Like, where would you put something else like an addiction, whether it's, or maybe it's, your job that you're really putting before everything else, like your family and helping people because I'm so busy working, my health, all these different things. Like, it doesn't need to be an addiction to be, is there something that's literally kind of giving up these other values in order to pursue this one area of my life? Or suppose you're just spending time like sitting there scrolling through Facebook or YouTube or, TikTok or whatever. And it's like, how does that align with your values? How does watching stuff on social media align with your values? I appreciate you're watching this on YouTube, but if you were like, you know what, I'm going out, turn this video off right now, I'm going to do something, okay, good, you got it, go live your values. Hopefully you come back when you have some free time and learn some more information, but like, this is what it's about, right? It ain't about my video or nothing, live your values. But then I was asked how I was living them at the time, and I really had to reconcile that with how I was living in the moment, especially early on in recovery, with like, how do I envision my life? How do I want to live my life? How can I incorporate these things? So I also had heard someone say, true happiness comes from when your actions align with your goals and values. And that really stuck with me because I love logic and it kind of made sense. When you do things that align with how you view yourself and how you want to be viewed and the world and things like that, it feels good. That's when you get a sense of pride and accomplishment. When you do things that don't align with your values, your goals, that's when it causes this internal conflict. And I was tired of internal conflict, maybe doing things that didn't, especially stuck in like an addiction, doing things that don't align with your values, to like, okay, how can I truly embody and live these things? I wanted internal peace. I wanted serenity, like, I guess you can see some of my tattoos, but yeah, I guess it's right on that side. Like, one of these things that I found in my recovery that means that much to me is having that personal serenity inside, to be at peace with myself, with others in the world, and then from that, to learn to generate happiness just from within myself. I don't need other people's validation or things to make me happy. It's not about that. You're never going to hear me talking about getting rich or anything like that. Like, that's not what it's about. Like, my happiness and my serenity don't come from that place. My fulfillment, how do I find fulfillment? By living my values, by doing things that resonate with me. Once again, to go back to that, true happiness, comes from when your actions line with your goals and values. So how can I do these things to get that happiness from within? So then how can I live these values, right? What choices can I make? What goals can I work towards? And, I was literally like kind of working through this and thinking this. And I've done a lot of different jobs, and I've even done sales jobs. I've done all kinds of different stuff. I've never sold nothing I didn't believe in. I sold like tires, automotive service, stuff that people needed. I wasn't going to sell you something you didn't need, but I'm going to sell you exactly the best thing, for yourself or your situation, right? So how do I practice my ethics, my integrity in whatever it is I'm doing? So then how can I maintain my freedom? Don't do stuff that's going to get me into trouble, right? How can I help others? I think even in making these videos, the choices of jobs, not to say I won't ever do anything different in life, because then I'd feel, well, how does that impact living my values? I think sometimes you don't have the luxury to have a job that perfectly aligns with your values, right? So I've worked with clients who had the same values, but maybe a guy was driving a truck and he was delivering construction supplies, but he's like, you know what? I love building things. That's my values. I love, and he did on his own, love building things. He's like, so that's how I'm kind of living my values, and I'm also helping others because the buildings I help build, go towards different, services for people. But like, how can I help others, right? Whether it's in construction, I'm working on some lady's house, putting a new roof on, I'm helping. It doesn't need to be in a particular coaching or something or direct service kind of way like this. Appreciate and be there for my family. Like, go to family functions, be friendly, be warm, be welcoming. When my family members come around with their new partners, be like, hey, nice to meet you, blah, 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 like, be just warm and welcome. If somebody needs a hand, I'm there. I joke one of the reasons that I exercise, though, I can move furniture because I have enough family that somebody always needs help moving or something like that. Just in case you need to move a bureau or something, lift a couch down some stairs, it's nice to know I have some strength to be able to do these things. To how do I live with honesty? I'm not going to ever espouse something or say a concept I truly don't believe in. And I think that's sometimes becomes an issue, is that a lot of people can, even in psychological areas, I'll say, can learn something and they're telling it to clients, but do they truly believe in it themselves? And I think part of honesty is, I practice personally a bit of Buddhism, but like right speech, like the things I'm saying, I truly believe in. And a lot of times for me, it's not even because I've read a study and because I've, experienced it myself. If I can have both, the science to back something up, plus the personal experience, voila, but I think instead of just regurgitating things, to me, honesty is saying things that align with myself as well, as opposed to something I just think is accurate, if that makes sense, but I try and shoot for both. And lastly, promote justice. And if there's one area I'd say I guess I could do more in, I try and in my like literal, I guess, speaking with other people just on different topics, try and promote causes. Like even in different areas, I'm talking about, healthcare for all, because you'd be amazed how difficult it is. And I'm not going to get into it, but it's in this industry for people to get help. It's not so simple as go get help. You need help, go get it. Like, it's literally not. Beyond insurance and providers and everything, it's not that simple. So I just, anything we can do to promote, equity, justice, fairness. I don't care. I'll say these words. I'll take the hit because I'm living my values. I'm not going to say something or say I don't believe in that just for, I guess, how people feel. It's not what it's about. So some might say I'm a bit uncompromising, but I know what I'm about. I'm okay with things not working out for me. I'm okay with somebody hearing me say something like that. Like, I think everybody needs access to mental health care, behavioral health care, physical health care, all these things. And somebody's like, oh, screw that. Okay, don't like me then. I'm okay with things not working out for me. I'm okay with espousing a concept that people don't resonate with and they click off the video or they don't speak to me. If it means I've maintained my values. I'm okay if it means I take the long path. I get emails and all these different things about like search engine optimization and keywords and all. I'm like, I make the videos I make about the topics I think are important. I don't even design these things based on what's, I guess, going to be the best. This is just how I do stuff. I'll try and get better at things, but I'm going to live my values. I'm comfortable with my boundaries, and I've been complimented on that. Even at workplaces, I've had different, supervisors and stuff be like, I'm really good, especially ethical, different boundaries. Like, I'm comfortable in these areas because I'm comfortable saying no. because if I suppose some people are afraid to say no because they're afraid the person will get upset. So the person says, "Hey, can you do this?" or "Hey," and you're like, "No, actually, that's is not a thing that we do because of X, Y, and Z," and try and put it in like a nicer way. And maybe the person's going to get upset. That's okay. Boundaries exist for a reason. If every time that somebody gets upset, I just move my boundary because they feel some type of way. Like if somebody's like, "Hey, can I get $20?" and you're like, "Sorry, I don't really have it," and they get all mad, and I'm like, "Oh, let me figure out what I can do." Like literally, I just give of myself all day with no boundaries. Eventually, that's not going to work out. It's not going to be sustainable for anybody, for me or them. Oxygen mask rule. And lastly, I'm at peace with myself. I'm okay having the boundaries. I'm okay doing things the way I do them. I'm okay living with my values. I'm okay being that person on the mountain because I'm at peace with myself. And ultimately, that's whose opinion, I guess, or judgment really matters. Because, if I can't look at myself in the mirror, if I can't wake up with myself or sit alone with myself, then even if all the other people are patting me on the back, but when I'm by myself, I don't feel comfortable, then that's not a pleasant place to be. So, and no one needs to live my values, and I don't need to live theirs. Like somebody else's list, what your five were, and if it's finances, independence, these different things, like whatever it is, okay, live them. I'm not going to tell somebody what job they should have, how they should live their life, how they should interact with people. That's not my place, and they don't have to live mine. I don't have to live theirs. I only need to live my truth and walk my talk. So the things I espouse, the things I believe in, what I'm about, that's what all I have to do. I don't need to be what they're about, if that makes sense. And exactly, my speech doesn't need to be perfect. I'm going to say things in my like kid from Philly taught himself autodidact, kind of way, and that's okay. I'm going to walk my walk and talk my talk, I guess. But these values also grow as you do. Even these values from when the first time I did the exercise, like health didn't make it on there for a couple of years. I really wasn't that concerned. Now health would be one of my top priorities, because if I don't focus on my health, how do I make this sustainable? So sustainability might be another one of my balance. These different things are big values and priorities in my life. And I put like a person here, like given a boundary, I put a person sitting there meditating, because I can be at peace and meditative in difficult situations, in loud, noisy environments. I can sit on a bus bench in a loud street in Philadelphia with people around me and meditate. And I'm so at peace that, like, yeah, things could happen around me. Somebody can come up and rob me, okay. I can keep my head in a swivel all day if I want to, or I can be at peace with myself and the world, because most things are out of my control. It's acceptance, a whole nother video. And then to have these boundaries with other people and myself. Sometimes I need to put the hand up, sometimes I can let the whole world in. But I can also combine and reinforce this concept using Albert Ellis's concept of unconditional self-acceptance, accepting myself as I am, warts and all, flaws and all, be able to look at myself and have an honest assessment of where I am in these different areas, right? And accept it. It's not, and they say it's not like a cop-out, and I'll put like a link below. It's not an easy way out, like, oh, this is who I am. It's having an honest assessment, interaction, and dialogue with yourself, and accepting yourself in order to embrace yourself, that way you can better yourself. And other acceptance, meeting people where they're at. Don't expect other people to be their finished product, just like I'm not my finished product. That's what the personal development aspect is all about, is like working on these different areas of yourself. To me, it's like a lifelong journey. That's why I want to make it sustainable, to focus on my health and all, to see where I can take this to. What happens if I keep on working on these different areas of myself? It's fun. Another concept as well is Carl Rogers and Stanley Standal's unconditional positive regard. Now, unconditional positive regard for them was actually in interacting with clients. How no matter what things you said or how they viewed you, to have positive regard, to view clients in a positive light, no matter the circumstances. And think about that, for a counselor, hearing different things, maybe somebody's done different things. And like, I've heard clients that have told me lots of different things that they've done, especially recovery clients, people in addiction, do all kinds of different stuff. Okay. And how do I not judge people and have unconditional positive regard for people? It's a difficult thing, but when you work on it, I can be more at peace with other people and not be sitting there wagging my finger and having judgment. So I've done a video before in Ellis's acceptance work, I'm sure I'll do more. I also encourage you to research these concepts for yourself, unconditional other acceptance, self acceptance, Albert Ellis's work, Carl Rogers, basically coach people who don't want to pour the hours in the stuff that I have. Like I truly love this stuff. Like I read these books and I'm sitting there laughing because to me, to have that self-acceptance is to acknowledge my own previous like irrational beliefs. And I read the cognitive distortions. Oh my God, like Aaron Beck, I'm like sitting there cracking up because I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing these things, like jumping conclusions, mind reading, predicting the future. I'm like, oh my God, like, and to put a name to some of these little things that we do, to me, it's funny and it's enjoyable. So now when I can take these concepts and philosophies and put them away for other people to understand who don't want to sit there and read these whole textbooks, usually meant for like therapists and stuff, though Ellis has stuff meant for like regular readers, but it's enjoyable to me. Like I truly love this. That's why I'm not even sure how many minutes I'm at 20 minutes at this point, but I could sit there and keep riffing on and talking about all these concepts because they're wonderful and their work is wonderful. And like Albert Ellis is like how to stop worrying, stuff for especially young people who are afraid to, talk to other people or have anxiety surrounding it. That's some of his really early work as a young man for himself, is learning how to basically approach people, or especially, somebody you're interested in dating, and not how to psych yourself out. Because half of that, the self-acceptance, the other acceptance, life acceptance, is like psyching yourself out before you even get to the thing. Like before you even walk in the room for the first day at your job, before you even step on stage, before you approach the person, you're already psyching yourself out. Like, I can't do this. This isn't going to work out. They're not going to like me, all these different things. So once I can like settle all that noise down, have that peace within myself, have that acceptance, be able to laugh at myself, be able to meet others where they're at, to be able to accept most things are out of my control, that some people aren't going to like me, some people aren't going to like this video, some people aren't just going to like the cut of my jib, what have you. Okay, like once I can deal with all these different concepts and philosophies, like I can sit there and chill at the bus stop, and if somebody looks at me sitting there meditating at the bus stop like this dude's a nut, I'm okay with it. Like I'm truly. And that's why when like the keys to the confidence in yourself, like this is all part of it. And that's why I chose to make this video after I'm always thinking of different ideas and concepts for videos, because a lot of this comes from my work. So I'll be talking to clients and about different things and concepts will come up. And I'm like, you know what, this would be good for a current video. But all these different things relate. It's all part of them puzzle pieces. Why I have that graphic I talk about, that I'm basically like putting all these different things together, seeing how these dots connect, how these different people's work, like Aaron Beck and Albert Ellis, who were like working off each other. How does that work? Where did that come from? Okay, they're talking about Greek philosophers, and their concepts, and these Buddhist Eastern philosophies. How does it all fit together? Then how can I actually take that information and incorporate it in my life? Make choices, habits, goals, different things, to actually live them and to integrate it. So I'm not just saying all these concepts from Ellis and Beck and stuff, like I'm living it. So when I say like I walk the talk, live in my values, like I mean it. It's what I do, But, and you're not going to bat 1,000. Some days you're going to struggle. Some days, I'm going to get frustrated by somebody in traffic. Okay, life's going to happen, but I can work my way through it. I'll put the link in the description for some of their work, as well as my other videos on like acceptance and values and stuff. And as always, thank you. Hope this video is enjoyable and helpful, and have a great day.